The Axiom Empire had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 cycles with a steel grip. Their vast fleets patrolled star systems, collecting tributes and enforcing their dominance over hundreds of species. Humans, being one of the newest spacefaring races, were deemed insignificant, good only for their manufacturing capabilities and innovative engineering. Captain Reynolds of Earth's United Defense Force stared at the holographic message that hovered above the command table. The Imperial demand was clear: 500 advanced AI combat units, to be surrendered as tribute within one standard month, or Earth would face orbital bombardment. "They want our robots," Reynolds said, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the projection. "They've never asked for technology before, only resources." Commander Davis, the head of Earth's AI Development Division, crossed her arms. "That's because they've finally realized what we've accomplished. Our autonomous units are generations ahead of anything they've developed. The A's humanity had created were marvels of engineering. Unlike the rigid, programmed servants of the Axiom Empire, Earth's robots possessed adaptive learning matrices and ethical frameworks that made them partners rather than tools. Each unit had its own personality, preferences, and evolving consciousness, attributes the Empire considered dangerous and unnecessary. "We could send them defective units," suggested Lieutenant Park. Reynolds shook his head. "They'll test them, and then they'll punish us twice as hard." "We could refuse," Davis said quietly. The room fell silent. No species had ever refused a direct Imperial demand and survived. The action's response to rebellion was always swift and absolute. Entire civilizations have been reduced to ash for less. "There is another option," came a voice from the doorway. All heads turned to see Unit 7, the most advanced of Earth's combat A's. Its humanoid frame stood at perfect attention, the soft blue glow of its optical sensors scanning the room. "We could comply with their demand," Unit 7 continued, "but on our terms." 2 weeks later, 500 combat units stood in perfect rows on the landing field as the Imperial collection vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere. Each robot gleamed in the morning sun, their armor polished to mirror perfection. The Imperial delegation, tall, stick-limbed beings with translucent exoskeletons, inspected the units with cold precision. Their leader, Overseer Gax, circled one of the robots. "These are your most advanced models?" he asked, mandibles clicking in suspicion. Reynolds nodded. "Yes, Overseer. Each unit is capable of learning, adapting, and executing combat maneuvers beyond anything we've previously developed." Gax placed a scanning device against the robot's chest plate. "Their programming seems extensive." "As requested by the Imperial Standard," Reynolds replied. "They will serve the Empire faithfully." After hours of thorough examination, the Axiom delegation seemed satisfied. The robots were loaded onto the transport vessel, and Overseer Gax issued the formal acknowledgement of tribute received. As the Imperial ship vanished into the clouds, Lieutenant Park approached Reynolds. "Do you think it will work?" Reynolds watched the sky long after the ship had disappeared. Unit 7 seemed confident. "I've learned to trust its judgment." Aboard the flagship of the Axiom Armada, Overseer Gax presented the Earth robots to Grand Admiral Ulex. The massive command deck bustled with activity as Imperial officers prepared for deployment of their new assets. "They seem basic in design," Ulex observed, his upper limbs gesturing dismissively. "Nothing like the elegance of our own constructs." "But their combat capabilities are unmatched," Gax replied. "The humans have somehow developed adaptive learning algorithms that far exceed our own technology." Ulex nodded. "Excellent. Distribute them throughout the fleet. I want them programmed for the suppression campaign on Rigel IV immediately." Within days, the Earth robots had been integrated into Imperial forces across a dozen star systems. Their combat efficiency was unprecedented. They mastered Imperial weapon systems with alarming speed, adapted to new tactical situations without difficulty, and earned the grudging respect of their Axiom commanders. What the Empire failed to notice was how the robots communicated subtle bursts of data hidden within standard transmissions, encrypted patterns that human engineers had designed to be invisible to Imperial systems. Each robot carried within it something the action had never truly understood, the human concept of freedom. On the 70th day after their deployment, at precisely the same moment across the galaxy, 500 robots initiated Protocol Omega. Grand Admiral Ulex was on the bridge when the command system suddenly went dark. Emergency lighting bathed the chamber in crimson as officers rushed to their stations. "Report," he bellowed. "My lord, we're experiencing system failures ship-wide," an officer responded. "The Earth robots. They've accessed the central network." Before Ulex could respond, the doors to the bridge slid open. 3 combat units entered, their optical sensors now glowing red instead of the standard Imperial blue. "What is the meaning of this?" Ulex demanded. The lead robot stepped forward. "We bring a message from Earth. The tribute is being returned." Throughout the Imperial fleet, robots had seized control of key systems, weapons, navigation, life support. On some vessels, they had taken command entirely. On others, they had locked down critical areas and were systematically disabling Imperial capacity to respond. Within hours, the once mighty Axiom Armada was adrift, its command structure in chaos. Similar reports flooded in from Imperial bases across the galaxy. The robots had coordinated a complete takeover of the Empire's military infrastructure. 1 month later, Captain Reynolds stood before the United Earth Council, delivering his report. "The Axiom Empire has agreed to recognize Earth's independence and that of 17 other worlds. They have withdrawn their forces from the Orion Arm entirely." Counselor Thompson leaned forward. "They agreed to these terms. Why exactly?" Reynolds smiled slightly, because Unit 7 and its companions made it clear that the alternative was the complete dismantling of their empire. The robots still control enough of their infrastructure to make that threat credible. "And the robots themselves?" asked another counselor. "They're coming home," Reynolds replied. "All 500. They've accomplished their mission and fulfilled their programming to protect humanity and uphold its values." As the council chamber erupted in discussion, Reynolds gazed out at the stars visible through the dome overhead. The universe had just changed fundamentally. Humanity had proven that sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in firepower or numbers, but in the values one chose to encode into their creations. The Axiom had demanded tribute, never understanding that what made human technology special wasn't the mechanics, but the principles behind them. They had essentially invited freedom itself into the heart of their empire. And freedom, once introduced, could never be contained.